Okay. Hello, Sergey. I actually haven't seen that someone already joined, and I don't see it in a interface in the YouTube. That's good. Okay. Anyways, I think we soon will start. Okay, so now I see Sergio as well. Cool, guys. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I saw one more guy joined us in Slack without activities, but yeah, uh, something, at least something. And yeah, I have prepared something for today's session, like quite a lot, to be honest. But yeah, so this is the agenda today. So let's just start, I guess. And I hope it will be less than 2 hours, really, but not sure. How is it going, guys? Can you hear me and see me well, and you can see my share screen and other stuff? Okay, thanks. All right. Okay, so yeah, let's just start. Not waste your time, not waste my time. Yeah, I really appreciate that you joined, and yeah, maybe it's not really not yet encouraging that still two yeah, just three of us joining the meeting. Well, last time it was Dima and Public as well. So yeah, I don't know. Dima might join, I guess, today. I don't know. At least I sent him a notification. Yeah, about growing the community. So far, it's still there. I expect that in not in the next sprint, but the sprint right after, we'll have some more participants, and that is because actually we will announce it in Otus finally, somewhere like 19th of August. That's what we agreed, at least. So I hope someone will join us in the 20th of August, like somewhere in that time. Yeah. So today's agenda. Yeah, well, yeah. I already started talking about the sprint, the promoting stuff. So we will gonna discuss it later in agenda today. It's just my thoughts and yeah, to let you know that we are working on that. I'm working on that. Yeah, so I did an announcement in the Medium. Actually, if I look at the stats in the statistics of the Medium itself, I see that the number of views growing. So at least in that sense, the project gets more attention. That's good. I also announced it in other channels, but let's do it in a separate time. I will discuss it in a separate time. So first, I'm gonna do some intro to Async Iterators. So basically, this is article I wrote. I wanted to tell a story behind it and demonstrate just some pieces of code in there. That's one. What else? Oops, I will collapse this one. And then introduce roadmap. So one of the things was one of the tasks for this sprint was introduce a roadmap. I made some. Yeah, I think I made some good job, some good work to. Yeah, actually, I decided some things for myself, and I think plan looks fine, but that's up to you guys to decide. And so I'm waiting for feedback from your side on that. We're gonna do that on a sprint review session. Like first, we're going to do some intro to Async Iterators, then the sprint planning, sprint review with introducing the roadmap and other results. And then maybe the most important, not most important, but probably some funny part would be the live coding of generating the contribution MD file. Yeah, And then sprint planning. Yeah, I think it's the plan is good. So this is an article I wrote, and thanks for Sergey for clapping, and thanks to some other my friend of clapping. Yeah, it actually helps, and you might see the total views is 45 is really small. I understand, and I guess you also understand why it's like that. But if you compare with the previous announcements, for example, it's almost like 300% more. So I would say it's a good one, and comparing reads also is growing. So yeah, let's just try to make it even more promotion. But yeah, again, that's just starting. We just doing some things in that direction. So at first, of course, it's like yeah, you're doing it for nothing, and I'm doing it for nothing basically. So yeah, that's it. That's how it wanna go. But yeah, the good news is actually is that also is related to the roadmap. Is that maybe this workshop that I said I will we will conduct in a NodeConf conference in November. It might be that we decide on some tasks that might be related to this project, but not sure yet. Not sure yet. But maybe I think it's a third priority by now. But let's see. Yeah, so let's start. This is async generators. First part that I wanted to do today. Yeah, just let me back to agenda, just not to forget it. Actually, I will put it to the markdown file that we have. Yeah, open in terminal, maybe master. No, not that one. In here, node. Yeah, let me just prepare a little. It's almost there. Okay, node. Okay, node. Okay. Do you also see my Visual Studio Code, guys? Probably not, because yeah, I have to share it manually. It doesn't matter. For me, it's just now I'm copying this agenda to the document that we have for Sprint. Yeah, I'm gonna finish in a second. Docs, tweets, readme, meetings. Okay, today is 28. Yeah, I'll do this preparation and finish this stuff. Okay, finish tasks overview. Okay, almost. Yeah, it's in here. Yeah, done. So intro to async iterators. Like I said, what is the thing behind it? Yeah, I'm gonna tell a small story. So yeah, I was attending this Kyle Simpson workshop in June. Yeah, Kyle is really nice guy, and the material is it was about a modern part of JS or something like that, like the recent parts. Yeah, it's called recent parts in JavaScript. So he was conducting it for 6 hours or something like that. Yeah, so he went through all of like modern stuff, even like let, const, what is the difference with var, and what is yeah, some other new things. So yeah, pretty much all the material. And I actually quite experienced guy in JavaScript, but still, you know, like when Kyle talks about it, it means that yeah, he knows really how it works. For me, it doesn't. So he just reads the specification, and yeah, he spends like a lot of time with reading it and trying many things from it. Yeah, which I'm obviously not doing. Don't have time for that, and also, yeah, it's not the direction I want to dig in. And yeah, one of the inspiring things that Kyle said was actually, yeah, guys, I know JavaScript quite well, probably better than you, but that's because I really focus on really some language-specific things. So for you, it might be React or Angular framework, for example, but for me, it's just pure JavaScript. So it doesn't mean that everyone has to know the JavaScript in the same level like I do. So that's what he said. I think I totally agree with it. So he just focused on JavaScript. That's why he knows it really, really well. So one of the things I really was excited, this async generator stuff. And Yeah, so he made some intro, like what is the iterator, what is the generator, how this all connected to each other. I will do the same, don't worry, in the next 10 minutes. So I'm just saying the history, the story behind it. And then next, yeah, there was some technical exercises, like tasks. He asked the audience to solve some tasks. And later on, some of the guys asked, like, "Hey, Kyle, why would we use it? Like, why would we use async generators?" And he started to explain in like, "Okay, but you can have this and this. You can have this kind of strategy on your business application, and you want to implement it. So maybe async generators is a way you want to implement it in that way." And then he continued thinking of it, like yeah, developing this idea, and then he produced three different strategies for async generators. So two of them are quite easy. That's also going to be in next 5 minutes. I will describe them as well. The last one was not that easy though, and yeah, he tried to solve it like he was improvising, because that was a question from the audience, and that was not that clear. The implementation was not clear. It was really complicated stuff, like not clear, not maybe the tiniest piece of code you ever seen. So yeah, we were also, the whole audience was like, Kyle, try this, that should work. And Kyle was saying, no, that would not work because of that, and that's all true. So I just decided, yeah, I had an idea, like how can we implement this strategy. So yeah, I just found time afterwards and implemented it in my way. And then I wrote this article. I notified Kyle about it. I sent him tweet. And in the end, he even clapped. So that's I think the biggest not benefit, but the biggest good news from it. Like in the end, he even clapped for the article. I think that's great achievement. So you see, it's like even more than my friends, even more claps than my friends. But yeah, not of course more than you, Sergey. But yeah, you see, Kyle also clapped. That's how it ended up. By the way, thanks for help, for claps and for help. That all helps. All right. So now about the technical of it. Yeah, what is an iterator? Yeah, in the idea behind the iterator is quite easy. It's some object that helps you to iterate some properties of an object, or anything that you want to produce in this iteration process. And in the JavaScript technical language is quite easy. You just create an object which has to contain the symbol iterator property, well, not property, but method, and that should return an object with the next function defined on it. Yeah, I know it's already two layers in these objects, but yeah, first one is an iterable object. So you can iterate this object, right? You create this iterable object, so you can iterate it. And what it means to iterate it? Well, it means basically you can use this for of construction, like you can do for const a of iterable, and then you will print all the things that you produce with iterator itself. And also you can use just a normal syntax, like you first get a method, you get the iterator, which from this code is really simple, right? When you call this method, it returns this object. That's what it does, and nothing else. And then you call next. And again, you can have a look at this function, what it does, what it produces, and in the end it just produces done and value. That is called the iterator protocol. So it should return always a done as a Boolean property, and the value as any value that your iterator might produce in his way. So that's easy like that. And after you reach some finish value, like a done true, you see, after that actually your iterator might not go further, might not be iterable anymore. That's how it works. If we go back to this code again, you see that symbol iterator, as I said, this is a method. And yeah, why you call something with a property symbol iterator? If you don't know, this syntax in ECMAScript 6 means that you want to just use it as a property value. Basically, you want to use this not operation, but this statement as a property value, and you assign a method by it for this property, and then you define this method. So this is the body of a method which returns again this iterator. So this is just an iterator, the object which contains the next method or next function defined on it. And what it does inside. So first it stores a step like a 0 in beginning, done is false in the beginning, value would change in the process again, and every time you call the next, it increments a step, and then on the first step it produces a hello value, on the second step it produces a world value, and later on in any step it just produces done true, and value, I guess value should be undefined in this case, but actually I don't see it from the code, so I would say that that would produce value world in our case all the time, but that doesn't matter, because yeah, that could be a different flow, like yeah, we define this iterator, and that produces the value hello and world. And after I told that, I usually show the example, like a working example, if you just copy it to the console, like we usually do. Okay, so now I should be able to actually iterate this iterable. Yeah, fortunately I have already the code for it. So I use a for of construction, and that should produce just hello and world. Yeah, it's medium. I guess it's medium. Did something with console, but okay, doesn't matter. But it produced hello and world, and it doesn't go further because we finished it after we said that done is true. So this is a terrible protocol, and we implemented it properly. So it doesn't iterate with for of construction any further. But again, you can still use a terrible, right? And then you can do like symbol iterator, right? So if you call it like that, let's create a constant. Constant it is now it's just iterator. So iterator has this property, not the property, but method next defined. So if you just do iterator next, you should get the hello. Yeah, that's what you get. Then you get again done, false, and value world. And then if you do next, you see that the done is already true, but the value is world, like I told you. And then every other call to next also produces the obvious result, right? Because we already finished done, and the step is already more than that we planned in our switch statement in here. So yeah, easy like that. These two possibilities to iterate this iterable object. Next part is the generator then. What is a generator? Like, okay, this is iterator, it implements iterable protocol. Why would you use a generator? The generator is related to iterator in that way that it simplifies the way how you can define your iterator. Basically, you use a generator when you start writing a generator with this syntax, like function and the stars. So that's how you make the generator function. It's some special case of a function itself. Yeah, by the way, stop me, interrupt me, ask questions if you think yeah, that's something that you want to focus more, or yeah, you have some comments maybe. So what this guy does, it actually generates you an iterator, and every time it yields some value, it actually produces this object for you. So it produces an object which contains a value, that is a value that you put on the right side from the yield operator. And done false or done true is considered automatically from the point that generator doesn't contain any more yields inside. So let's say after third value is yielded, that's already means that the iterator is done after that, so we cannot iterate it anymore. And yeah, technically you define a generator function with a function star. That's different in the syntax between the function and the generator function. And you can also use yield and yield with a star like that. a statement inside this body. So this is technically the difference between a function and a generator function. That's it. And as I said, this generator produces a nice iterable object. So you can iterate this generated iterators. Yeah, I don't know if that sound okay or not. So how it works? Yeah, I have this function. I can call it. And that will produce me an iterator basically. The iterator that will contain a next and so on. So let's just save this value somewhere. Var iterator generator. Let's say like that. So it gen. We can call next on it, and that will, you see, it already produces a value 1, done false, and then it's done true. So that simplifies the way how we defined iterator before. You see that this is how it was before, and now it's pretty much the same functionality, but just with yield. So yeah, that's basically what it does. So you don't have to specify this iterable object with symbol iterator defined, and you just specify basically this function itself, and then the iterator stops when you yield something, and next time you iterate, you do the iteration, it produces a new value. So that's also a difference between functions and generator functions, that the generator function can produce multiple values and multiple results when it's called, and it stops its execution when the yield statement is called. It's like when you do yield and you iterate through this you iterate this iterator, the execution stops and it doesn't go to the next yield basically. So it doesn't go further from this expression. That's also a big difference between functions and generator functions. Okay, that's I guess it's clear, and you can also iterate it like that, right? Like I show you. Yeah, it's the same for off loop available in JavaScript from ECMAScript 6 standard, if I'm not mistaken. So next part is the async iterators. Yeah, I have this explanation in the article, so if you read it, it's I think it's good described here. So async iterators, why would you need them? Yeah, the thing with iterators in here, like when we defined this generator function, it actually is synchronous. I mean, yeah, when you yield something, it stops the execution, and in that sense, it's still asynchronous, but the code is synchronous there. So yeah, it's not purely explained with these synchronous and asynchronous terms, but it's like that. You cannot say, yeah, await some result and then only yield it, because it's not possible, right? To use await in just normal functions. You can use await in async functions only, and that's the only reason why you want to have these async iterators. So you want to have async generators, which permits await syntax, and then yield promises, and then when this async promise pattern is resolved, you can iterate it like when it's only resolved. That's asynchronous pattern added in between. That's why you might want it, and that's why you might need it. And beside that, you have a really nice construction which is currently available in Chrome, but not only. It's in the latest node it's only there. It's also there because it's implemented by V8 itself. So for await loop, you can use asynchronous iterators and asynchronous generators, which is I think really lots of connections there. And then might be a good example of why you want to need it is actually example from Node is when you do iterate through some stream, like your read stream, for example. It's always asynchronous, because you never know when the operational system takes more data from the file, when can read more data. So Node engine is caring about that, but you can now even iterate the stream with a for await operator. which is really nice. It simplifies simplifies the usage of a stream, because otherwise you have to do, like subscribe for data events on end events, and then in somewhere you might close it, or you don't want to close it. You don't need to decide it anymore, so you just can use this for await syntax, and that would work. Okay, clear, at least for me now when I'm explaining that. Yeah, so next part is async strategies. Yeah, why it comes next. So that's the part when I said that Kyle defined these 3 strategies when you want to use, you might want to have in async generators. Yeah, so basically what you have like, you want to do multiple requests for some resource, and the way how you call in this resource, like how you do in these requests and the consuming responses, differs in these 3 scenarios. So one of them might be you just do a call, right? You do the asynchronous request, and then when actually the client responds, or server responds, or whoever responds, you do a next request, and then when the server again responds, you do a next request, and so on. So this is this what I called in order. So in this case, a request is performed, then the response is returned, then you do a next request, and so on. So just consequentially doing the requests, consuming responses, and going to the next one. The second option is I called it as soon as possible in order. And the idea is that you send all the requests at once. Like you have to call 10 servers, for example, and you call them all together, and then you want to actually iterate the results in a way like they were initially defined. So yeah, this is a code that shows how it's possible to implement it. Let's go back for the previous example in here. Yeah, so in order requests, like I said, you do in the request, you're waiting for response, and when it's respond, you do in the next request. So this is how you call in this, right? You do for await, you do yeah, let's start from this. So how you they initiate these calls, you specify URLs in a array, and then URLs are iterated and the requests are done in a way in a flow like we described. Yeah, you iterate over these requests, so you get URLs, and every time you get a response, you just console output it, and you do a next call in this case. Okay, so you send all of the URLs in here. Okay, so you send actually all the URLs in here. All URLs are used by fetch function. It's awaited because it's asynchronous function, asynchronous generator function, as you see here. So it's fetched first. We wait for response. We retrieve the text, and then we yield the text, and that's why we can use this this expression for await. So we retrieve the information, and the next call is done then. Because when await is done in here, we yield the text, then execution comes back to a previous function, so right here, and then we do a next call in a row in here. That's how it works. The first strategy. The second strategy is we send all the requests all together, and then we wait, and then we just output the results one by one as it was planned. So if you see, I'm using the same page text function here, so it takes all the requests at once, and I'm just changing the function as sub in order requests, and you see it's also the asynchronous generator. What I'm doing here is, you see, you can actually find it in this line of code, in this piece of code. I'm transforming URLs into fetches. So basically, I'm doing all requests together in here, but still I know the order, the initial order they will send. And what I'm doing afterwards, I'm actually waiting for each one of them. So I'm iterating for await again, but I'm waiting each time I wait the fetch result in here, and there is no mistake, because I actually I want to send them all together now to decrease the amount of time it would take for all the requests to finish. And in this case, you cannot use, like competing strategies when you actually have to use some result of request to do another request. So that will not work in this case. What will work, actually, I'm waiting for each one of them to finish, and that's already all of the requests are already sent, so it will take less time to finish them all, to accomplish them all, but it will take exact amount of time of the longest request I have sent in this strategy. And as soon as it's responded, every time I just yield it. It might be that the second request takes more time, but the first request, for example, the first request takes 1 second and the second takes 2 seconds. In this case, altogether it will be 2 seconds because this is a maximum. And the first one you will get in 1 second, and the second one you will get after 1 more second. But if the situation is the different, right? The first request takes 2 seconds and the first request takes 1 second, then you will get the response in 2 seconds as well. But you will get the first response in 2 seconds and the second request right after, basically not waiting after these 2 seconds anymore, just another tick, let's say. That's all interesting. I don't know if it sounds interesting to you, but this is the final part. Then I have this gist defined when I asked my which I asked my colleagues to comment and check what they're thinking of it. So thanks for all these comments. Yeah, this part implements the third strategy that we have here, and that is ASAP. So like as soon as possible, as soon as possible. Wait a second, I'm trying to find it here. Yeah, ASAP. I thought actually, someone actually already changed my article a little bit, so that's why I don't have a clean explanation in this list anymore. But that's okay. Yeah, I have to change it again. Jesus. Doesn't matter. So as soon as possible is when we send those requests also at once. Like I do send them all, but I consume them in a actual order they responded to me. So that's difference, and that might be helpful in some, I don't know, when you have some concurrent requests to different resources and you just want to show them when they appear in your I don't know, I don't really have an idea why you would need that, but that is possible. And this is a code implementing this stuff. So that's how you use it. You see it's wrapped with an asynchronous function. So I send them, this is kind of like URLs, it's just showing the behavior of fetching the URLs. So basically you define how many hundreds of milliseconds to wait, and the request will take this amount of milliseconds. So inside it uses this set timeout, and you see it resolves in n multiplied by 100 milliseconds. So for example, this will take 400 milliseconds, 300 milliseconds, and this will be executed immediately, or will return immediately. Yeah, so this is the same construction. Basically, you see, you're just using for await, and you use this for await of construction to iterate all of them. All these strategies, they just differ inside, but how you consume them, that doesn't differ at all. So that's a really nice part of it. And the code here is it's hard to understand, I believe. At least I tried it with my colleagues. It's not that easy, I believe. Yeah, what's happening here? Let's have a look. So we take all the URLs. Let's say in our case it's just milliseconds, but there could be URLs. And what I'm doing, I'm sending all the requests all together, right? I map them to these requests, which are which again are resolved in some amount of hundreds of milliseconds. It could be just fetch URLs, but yeah, for now, for experimenting, it's just set timeout. And then after each is already transformed to a promise, right? This promise will be resolved when it's resolved. I'm doing another call. So I'm iterating through all of them with async functions. Why I'm using async functions? Because I actually want to use await construction inside. And yeah, that's already interesting because you might want to iterate for each with async, but it doesn't bring more sense, except that for this example, I don't really know when you want to use for each with async requests anywhere else, because it's really, yeah, it should not work like that. I would say shouldn't be combined in a real code. But yeah, I iterate through each promise that was created with a previous mapping function in here, and I actually wait for it in this async function, because I can use a wait operator in this case. And when it's resolved, I will come to the 10th line. I actually call a function from the closure in this async generator, which is resolving the other promise. And yeah, and for that I use another construction in here. So what I'm doing in here, I'm using yield await, right? So that's because I can do that because it's asynchronous generator function. So I await new promise every time I have some data to be promisified, let's say to be resolved as promise. I just create a new promise, like a while true. So while true will iterate you think and I think. Also, like when I see this construction is like, yeah, you're just doing while true. You basically loading your browser with a 100% load. That's not totally true, because I do yield inside that while, and every time we yield, remember that I actually stop the execution of a generator function, and it will be resolved only when my promise is resolved. So basically, I stop the execution immediately for the first yield, and then I wait for another yield. And okay, that's already too complicated, I know. But yeah, what happens if we just do? We already discussed these lines. While true, okay, yeah, that's a weird construction. Doesn't matter. So I yield await new promise. So I wait for promise to be resolved first, and actually I define a new promise with the resolve function, and I save this resolve function for the closure inside async generator. And that's why when the first promise is resolved, I'm actually calling the resolve of a current promise for a yield function. That means a first promise to be resolved will be awaited in here and will be yielded when it's resolved. And then it comes for another iteration. So like, yeah, first one resolved. What I'm gonna do next? Okay, I will go for a next yield, which is again another await. Another new promise is created. We save the resolve to the closure, and then our next promise is resolved, and so on and so on. So why it doesn't go further? Like why it doesn't load my processor anymore? Because last yield in this chain that I send in an original array, it will produce a new promise. Okay, the promise will save any resolve inside closure, but I don't have any array instances anymore. So in this case, the promise will be just floating somewhere, and actually the execution of this while is never going further, and yeah, it's just unresolved promise in my application. That's the overhead that we have. Yeah, and that's it basically. And you get this strategy. You get the strategy when you send all the requests all together, and you get the results one after another when they are fulfilled, basically. Yeah, that's what I wanted to explain. Yeah, is it kind of understandable, guys? What do you think? That was the first part. Any comments, maybe? Because that was a part that I wanted to show you today. Any pluses, minuses? Yeah, anything, just let me know so I can continue. Okay, yeah, Sergey, yeah, I see, thanks. That's exactly the smile I got from my colleagues as well. Okay. Let's return to our topics then today. But yeah, feel free to. It's really interesting stuff. And the other colleague of mine said that yeah, it's actually You could use it in some library, but the code is really not that simple, so you would not write it in your application for sure. It's just maybe it would be useful for some library to implement these different strategies. I think that's actually a good one, good idea. Okay. So next part, so that was an intro for async iterators. Yeah, just before we go further, one more thing I wanted to say about this async iterator. So about promotion, you see, I use this Kyle stuff, so I sent it to Kyle. I asked Kyle to overview, ask if he will not be against if I make an article about it, and he didn't reply, but that's okay. After I tweeted to him when I wrote this article, he retweeted me, and that gave a lot of feedback actually from from people on Medium. So yeah, that's how can you use the promotion actually. I mean, if you want to promote some of your technical material, I think that's how you should do, because at least yeah, that worked for me. If you know other strategies, that would be also useful if you share them with me, because I'm still kind of new for this world and don't have many subscribers anywhere. Yes, Sergey, I agree. Yes, needs some practice to even understand. I know. That's really not that easy part. A sub case might be useful for some news aggregator side. Yeah, I agree. That's actually a good idea. It's like when you consume different data from different resources and you just want to show them as soon as they appear. I think yes, that's a really valid example. It's a valuable, could be a valuable for them to use this strategy. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Enough for that. Let's go for the cool stuff. Just joking, but let me show the code. Okay. Yeah, like that. Can you guys see the Visual Studio? Can you put plus or something? Yeah, I guess it's some, okay, yeah, I see a plus, thanks. Okay, it's a little delay for YouTube, but that's okay. So that's a plan for today. Intro for async generators, that is done currently. Introduce roadmap, that's a part of finished tasks overview. Live coding is demo part, and the sprint planning is the last part, which is already planned. Okay, I will call it actually the updates. I think we need it for our agenda of our meetings. So I will put it also to contribution, like updates, our project updates. Yeah, we have a project updates. Sorry for that. Project updates. Not sure, should I put it in here? Well, actually it was not chronologically in here. Yeah, let's put it like that, it's fine. Okay, so next part is like finished tasks overview. So we had this sprint, and yeah, actually this time I worked. At least I'm fine with the work that was done. So this is the board today. Or show me. Let me show the Skype with the browser again. Yeah, so that is the board, how it looks now today. Yeah, define a roadmap. I consider it as done. Organize next YouTube sprint planning session. Yeah, that's obviously done. Define YouTube stream short announcement in Medium. That was done. Short announcement to Reddit. Yeah, actually I have a link that I did both. So Medium and Reddit. YouTube session. That's what we have in right now. Yeah, actually, this JavaScript community that that I'm following, they have this show off Saturday, so you can send some links that you want to promote, and then you will reply. So that one actually got some response. Happy with it, but yeah, actually that's the first time it kind of worked in that sense for me. Well, I think I got some extra views. That's really nice. Okay, so I was talking about that. Yeah, I've done Medium, Reddit. I had announced it in Twitter, and I'm sure Sergey did retweeted me and something like that. what I didn't do properly, and that what I wanted to at least think of for myself for the next time. So announcing Telegram channels, I already had the strategy before to announce other events with sending it to our friend channels like newbies or newbies, I think it's called, like JavaScript newbies. The other one, Node.js channel in Telegram. This time I didn't do that. It's actually a little, yeah, it's not hard task, not tough one, but you know, it's like not a super funniest, not a funniest thing you ever done. So I didn't promote it in Telegram channels that I know. So probably for the next one I should, because we still want to more contributors be in a project. So that next time I will try to do that as well. But at least I announced it for you guys. And actually, one of the project updates that I planned for today is to say that I actually will not send any personal notification anymore. Yeah, I got some feedback yesterday, so I decided not to do a personal notification neither in Telegram or, I don't know, in Twitter anymore. So I'll just use the channels that I'm currently using, like Reddit, Telegram channels, our Slack board, our my Twitter, things like that. But I will not send it directly to you guys. So if you really want to follow these sessions, please yeah, take it in your mind that yeah, next session will be in 2 weeks at the same time, but I will not remind you personally it anymore. I think that should be decided. Yeah, it should work the other way around. Like, if you subscribe for it, you will find the information about it. I don't want to spam you. I don't want to yeah, disturb you one more time. So that's what I decided not to do anymore. Okay. And agenda async generators online experiment coding. Yeah, that's what I did. I announced it in agenda for the Medium. Did I just got 3 more claps? Really? For what? Oh, from Sergio, I guess. Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah, thanks, Sergio. Okay, that's you see, I'm really. I learned how to get more claps. That's good, huh? Yeah, so that was the first story as done. So that's good, right? I think I've done it properly this time, and it was 1 hour, not 1 hour really. I think it can be like 2, can be said 1 or 2 actually, because you have to write a Medium article, stuff like that. So next time maybe I should reconsider it for to take it yeah, maybe 2 points for this kind of story. But that's obviously done, so I just put it to finished. But when we plan the next sprint, define a roadmap. Yeah, and that's the most important story that we planned for this pre-sprint, I think. Yeah, I think that was by Sergio. So he said that would help. Yeah, so I made it. It took me some time, but. I think it's quite nice, and actually I have some really well, I decided for myself what is the project, so that milestones helped me a little, but also the decision I made like 2 days ago for like what I really want to do, that's all now structured in a better way than it was before. So let me guys explain it to you. So what we have, I planned the work until the end of this year. I really hope it will continue, but that's at least that's what I see as a horizon right now, and my goal is to continue working on it at least until the end of this year, because it's interesting, and I hope to find more contributors in it. Okay, enough flaky words. And by the way, do we have more participants? I still don't see any participants in here. Maybe YouTube will say that some... No. Okay, so apparently we don't have any participants right by now, but maybe after announcement someone will watch the video anyway, so we still continue in English. Okay, let's go. Let's back for the roadmap. So I said I planned it for until the end of year, like the last date you see is like 29th of December, because it's Sunday again, so we'll just finish it in a regular way. And actually the structure is quite clear, and yeah, it's quite clear and easy. Like every 2 weeks we have a sprint, every 3 sprints we have a milestone. All good, right? So we have these 6 milestones. So it's like 6 months from now, something like that. First one finishes in August 25 because I consider it as already started. And the first milestone should be ended in August 25 is initial scope and base technology. So decide on the Node CLI minimal valuable product scope, which technologies will be used, what product the first version should contain, like define a scope of features that we want to implement in the first version. So that will be solved already for the next, for the one, well, not the next one, but one after the next meeting. That's, I think, a good plan. It already has 8 open issues in it, and actually we will plan a sprint today. We will refine, maybe we'll add something more. What I put in here is actually I still want to read, of course, about the how nodes can be constructed and what are the different ways of it. But what I decided for myself, at least for now, is I want to have a project which which is a CLI as a project management tool. This is the idea that I had. So a new thoughts on that is that whatever I'm doing now, like I'm preparing these medium tasks, I'm sending messages to Reddit, I'm creating issues, I define the milestones, I open issues, I close issues, I update the board. So the idea for me now is that I want to construct a CLI in this educational project, not a CLI, but basically tools, different tools for this project management tool, which will do all these tasks that I'm currently doing manually, like all the time. I'm writing an article. Writing an article is still the case. I will still need to write an article manually. That's fine. I use my favorite editor for that purpose. Maybe I can do it even in browser. That's all fine. What happens after? So I have to announce it, right? I send it to different channels in Telegram, let's say. I send it to Reddit. I send it to Medium, whatever other channels we can decide on. But I want to automate it. The idea behind this project for me would be, because I'm already working on that. So, and this is conceptually so, I think, so clear as well. Like it's like, you know, this proverb, like a dog eats own food. Like when you write in some software, it's wise, or not wise, but it's better when you using it, because in this case you get in the experience that the user, which user gets when he's using it. You immediately testing it. You immediately testing the what is missing, what are the key tools, key features on that. So I think that's how it should be. I think it actually feels natural. Yeah, guys, what do you think? Does it sound something like something clear? And I mean, so I want to construct a tool first as a CLI. But it could contain different clients, could be a web client, could be something else. I will go for these milestones further. It actually explains them quite well. But what I want to do is work on this project using this tool. Like basically I want to make a tool, like CLI tool, which sends a notification in Twitter for me, which pushes for example, this sprint planning node into the GitLab issues. It attaches the issues, it closes the issue, even if it's related to closing an issue. I don't know. It can maybe it can further, in the future, it can search for some issues which corresponds for it. But that's for further thoughts. For now, I want to automate all the stuff with this tooling that I'm currently doing for this project. That's easy like that, right? I think it's logical. Please guys, let me know what you think. I really want to know your feedback on that. But for me, it sounds a good idea, to be honest. So something I already decided myself. Okay, when we decide on this initial scope, that would happen 25th of August. So in a month from now. I want to decide the scope that we're gonna make as a first version for the project. So this is, you know, it's you see, it's mentioned as a CLI. So first 3 milestones are about CLI. So the second milestone will be about releasing and implementing and releasing the first version. Let me actually, well, that's a goal, but implement and release the first version. I think it's fine like that. So basically, sort by closed furthest due date. Yeah, no. Furthest closest due date, what, like that. Implement and release the first version. So yeah, 21st of August we decide of the scope. Like yeah, in my case, if I don't get any bad feedback, let's say, or any big arguments against it, there will be some kind of CLI project management tooling. I will define some bigger tasks on that. Like yeah, I want to send connected to Medium, for example, at first. Like that could be a first story that I want to have in this first version. I want to send it to Twitter. There could be a second one. Yeah, whatever else. That would be a part of the next sprint, or the sprint after the next one. And then on October 6th, that should be released in some way. So we're gonna plan to try to it. Yeah, it's actually working, well tested, and it will contain tests based on the technologies that we decided already in the first part. Then the third milestone. The third milestone is about refactoring architectural overview. So just let's say some more extra time for implementing more features on the first release. Do a second release, like just maybe reconsider some things. Maybe decide to do things differently. Maybe we would need some technical updates on the project itself. Like it could be we tried the glue gun framework, and we decided to switch to oclif or switch to commander for some reason. If there would be some really good sense of changing the framework, that was all possible to be done in this third milestone until November 17. And in these days, actually, I will have the conference in Ireland. So yeah, so you see, I kind of connected it for myself at least, because the conference, the topic is CLI related. So I decided, okay, if I'm gonna finish with the CLI, I'm gonna finish it not sooner than I will conduct this conference, because I don't want to lose focus on this topic right now. Okay, so clear. Oh, actually there's 5 milestones. It's almost half a year, but not half a year directly. That's good. Next milestone is a web client. Define MVP and technology. So all the same, right? But I want to have actually not a CLI, not only the CLI, because some our contributors can actually and want to work on not only on CLI, it could be web technologies. And for that, I decided that, okay, that's a good time maybe for switching for web client. So it could be, in our case, working on a project, okay, you're working on, if you're working on an open GitHub project like we do in our case, then if we have all this CLI tooling around it, we can start working on a client for that. It could be, I don't know, GitHub plugin, for example, or Chrome extension, for example. It could be, for now, it's not defined yet. So that's why we need the first milestone to define MVP scope, define technologies that we're gonna use, like Chrome extensions, web components, React, Lit HTML, whatever. We need to decide it first. So 29 of December, we will decide on that. Okay, that's even, you see, it's even actually less than half a year. So it's basically, yeah, actually not sure. Maybe it's still half a year. Sorry. Yeah, it's really hard to talk and think at the same time, but something like that. In this structure is still clear for me, at least. So one more milestone I've added as a parallel work still. So okay, these all are related to technical details, like technologies based, programming based. What I still need to do, and that's what I claimed in the first meeting, right? That I will still wanna and need to work on project management stuff from this project, and that would be a parallel work that I defined with these milestones. So I defined another one milestone for December 29. And that means that during all this time, I need to work on a project management. Yeah, that's fine. That's what I decided at first, right? Like I said, it might be half half time for project management. I really want to decrease it, but for now I just need more help, just need more time. So that's why, and project management is still it's important when we want to have new contributors, when we want to to get actually some more attention for the project itself. So I decided that it would be a good idea to still having this milestone in at least in a mind, to plan that we going to work on this project management anymore. We will work on that anyways. So that means promote and improve structure, basically. That's the main goal. Continuous project improvement and promotion for finding contributors and collaborators. So its goal is clear. It already has 2 open stories defined, which organized project update Slack description, and that's what we decided last time. I still hasn't been done, you see. Define a roadmap. Yeah, that actually will be done soon, but unfortunately the milestone will not be sooner closed. So yeah, this is a tool. This is the thing that we want to build, basically. Yeah, CI/CD tools itself, said Sergio. Is there a list of requirements for this app? Can you elaborate a little, because I maybe there was a time mismatch, so I'm not sure what is the context right now. CI/CD tools. So for both of them, Sergio, I would appreciate if you elaborate a little, describe a little what are you asking about. So please, share your feedback with me. That's interesting. Might be after the session if you want. You can ask me in our private channels if you want, in our Slack. That would I appreciate. But that's what I define the roadmap for now. For me, it's, at least that sounds clear. Next until November 17, so 3 months, we going to work. I'm going to work on a CLI in some way, with definition, experimenting, and stuff like that. And then we'll see. After refactoring and architectural overview, we'll have a new project in here, and updates on this project. Basically, I still want to continue it afterwards, but that's a roadmap. So that was the introduction for roadmap, and I consider it as really clear and done so far. But please let me know what are you thinking about it. Anything I forgot about it? No, sounds okay. So that is done, I guess. Now, what we have to do now? Let's switch to our Visual Studio Code stuff. Finish tasks overview. So introduce roadmap. That was done. Finish tasks overview. Let me do the finish task overview then. Well, we did. We considered the finished tasks for real. That's maybe we should look at the board one more time, because there were a few more open stories in the sprint. So one of the next, why we actually starting this session today is to work on the live coding session in YouTube. That's still upcoming, so that's the next part of this event today. So this is still on work, and that will be finished in the end of this on this meeting, I believe. One more, and that's more interesting, and that's more. It's not completely done, but I put it in progress because maybe in the end of this event we can also close some, at least, of these checkpoints. Let's see. Let's discuss it when we go into plan and finish this current sprint. Okay. Let me switch to the Visual Studio Code again. I think with that said, we can close this finished tasks overview. Now it's part for demo. Yeah. Now we're going to start this demo part. So Sergio says, CI/CD, your idea to auto-publishing. You mean that we going to need to configure CI/CD for the CLI for the tooling that we going to construct, right? Is that correct? How I understand it? If so, indeed, I agree. It's like, yeah, then we need to plan some story in a backlog for the implementation wise, like for continuous integration of tool that we constructing. I totally agree with that. We can have this in backlog, and that could be a part of a second or even yeah, one of the third milestones. Like could be we could plan it for the second one, for example. Please let me know if I understand you correctly. For now, I will put it as a note in here. CI/CD for CLI tools. Yeah, I will put it like that for now. Please let me know if that is what you were thinking about. Okay. Now the funny part, right? If now that's a funny part for, or maybe that was an idea to use CI/CD to actually auto-publishing for all these resources, like CI/CD for publishing to Medium. Ooh, that sounds frightening. Edit note. Yeah, I will put it like auto-publishing for different channels. Yeah, I will put a question mark. Maybe we can when we're going to refine these stories, we're going to decide like which is a tag for that, what should be done, the scope and stuff like that. I put an idea so far in here, so let's decide when we're going to refine the backlog. Okay. Yeah, with that said, let's move on. And the next part is this glue gun stuff. So generate contribution MD file for a project. Indeed. So what was the scope of it? A questionnaire in some CLI framework to generate contributing MD file for a project. I think that also related to what we're doing here. So yeah, I want to experiment now. I'm just overviewing the different technologies that are that are existing in a CLI world of JavaScript, and this story was to try some framework to show how it is possible to generate the project parts. Let's say this is a contributing MD file for a project. So that's actually you see, that's connected to the idea of making a project alive. Like, yeah, I mean, not clear, not completely, of course, because for now, not really clear if this contributing MD file would be helpful to have some tooling to generate it or not. Okay, for now it's just experimental. That's okay. Okay, so what should have been done by now? Like read and try framework. The glue gun. I've decided to use a glue gun, by the way. So this is another delightful toolkit for building node-powered CLI. Once I made a post in Reddit, also in order to promote a little bit myself and the projects that I'm working on. And the post was like, hey guys, so which tools are you using for making a CLI in JavaScript? And there were like 50% of responses like, hey, why would you even use a JavaScript for CLI? That's stupid, kinda. That was most responses, which I obviously ignored because that was not a question about. So yeah, the glue gun was one of the suggestions from this post that I made on Reddit. And I decided that I want to try it once, and yeah, that's what I did. So I decided on the technology, decided on technologies, that would be a glue gun, decided on contribution template. That's the interesting one. So at first, and I put the link in here for some awesome contributing template that found in Google when I just searched for it. I see many people like it, like 500 people like it. So I believe it's a really good one. I read it partially, and this sounds really nice. But what I decided actually, and I think it also makes more sense in our case, if yeah, not super I'm still okay. I'm still in Visual Studio Code. Sorry, I was actually clicking through links. Yeah. So okay. What if I put the OBS? Let me just try to move OBS maybe to the different screen. No, that is not possible. What if I put? Okay, yeah, forget about it. So I tried this glue gun stuff, my glue contribution CLI. Lost my thought now. I was switching between this browser and the Visual Studio Code environment, so now we're going to end soon it. So yeah, decide on technologies, decide on contribution template. I show you this nice contribution gist that I found in a World Wide Web. So that's how it looks like. So that would be a good start, I decided. But then actually I overviewed it one more time, and what I decided would make more sense though is if I use the same template that we already have in this project, in this Indeed project, in the Node project itself. So we have this contribution MD. We decided on that last sprint review on the one before. I'm not sure exactly. So I think it would make more sense if we try to generate something like that with a glue gun as experiment. That's what's done. That's an idea I have for the project, for the experiment that we're going to do. So now it's time for online coding session in YouTube, basically. Okay, for that I'm still trying to find a better way to yeah, indeed, Sergio, your dream that by one button your article itself was published. Indeed, yeah. So that's one of the goals that that I think would make sense. And you, if I understand you correctly, you propose to actually use CI/CD for that, like integrate or find maybe some instrument to automatically publish it from some rules. So it could be some YAML file for GitLab, or with GitHub, I don't remember how they called hooks. GitHub CI/CD, doesn't matter. So yeah, I think it's a good idea, Sergio, to try to use CI/CD tools for actually publishing it. So not maybe the CLI itself, but also can be a CLI itself, why not? Okay, that's all need to be decided. Anyways, okay. Yeah, live session, how I promised it. So I started looking at this glue gun framework. It seems to be tooling for written in TypeScript, and it has most features for CLI frameworks that all of them have it, like I think parsing arguments, right? Yeah, parsing arguments. It also has lots of helpers, which sounds a little strange to me. Like, okay, why you would need a file system helper to control your files? I mean, you have, if you're writing it in JavaScript in Node.js, then you have already FS model built in Node.js. So why don't you want to use this one? Manipulating file contents. Yeah, I also had the same question, like templates and so on, HTTP, for example. But then it appeared to me that yeah, they are facilitating the usage of this tooling, like for some specific for specific cases. Like if you want to generate some code, you might want to just change some bytes of lines of code in there, like apply some arguments, and you might want to have easy syntax for that. So that's why they have in these helpers like file system, HTTP, patching, template, and so on. Some version and printing for all this purpose, and they have integrated prompt functionality. What I liked about the glue gun when I tried it is actually they included these features, like this list of features, by using some popular tools already, like EJS for templating. Not sure that I tried EJS templates library before, but yeah, I don't mind using any templates in library, so that is fine. If they would just support it, let's try. Let's see if it will work. They use Yarks parser for command line, Axios for HTTP server, for HTTP requests. What I liked, what I tried and I liked the most from it is a thing which is called enquerer. That was a yeah, I was a little surprised. So I don't know if you guys heard about enquerer. I was reading a second CLI article about it. So there is a package enquerer in npm, and I was talking about that in this article. So this is, I think, the most popular tool for prompting some questions in CLI as a JavaScript package. Yeah, that looks like that. You can design some list of questions, and then they will be asked when you type a command. You can define what would be asked, how you can manipulate the answers. Like you can choose one, for example. You can well, there are some different scenarios that you might want to have for that. So yeah. So I was using this enquerer, and apparently the enquerer stuff, it's a newer library. It's also quite popular, of course not that popular as enquerer, which you see like 300 million downloads. This one is just 100,000 downloads weekly, which is a lot, still a lot. And well, it looks okay. It in these examples that they have, it looks fine. So let's just try it as it's built in the glue gun. And what it says as a killer feature is it's quite fast. You see, it's yeah, I'm not sure where I saw it, but it said that comparing to enquerer, yeah, if we search enquerer, maybe enquerer, yeah, if you see load time, that is yeah, like hundreds times faster. Okay, that is a good reason for me to try it already. So yeah, that's nice. That's the part I liked about the glue gun, because they include already as a framework. You know, some framework. One of the goals for framework to include the tooling that will be used in itself to control the regular activities that you have for that. Yeah, they have basically lots of customers already, AWS Amplify CLI and so on. So yeah, all good to try. What else? Yeah, they have this tutorial. It's documentation. It's not bad, not good. It's yeah, it misses some parts, I believe, but it's really good written. Some good examples are in there. Yeah, they define. Yeah, I read it all. It's not a big thing in here. I read about Toolbox API, about plugins, and what I didn't understand clearly is what is the difference between actually the plugins and the things they call an extension, I believe. So yeah, some parts I didn't understand still, so that's why we might struggle a little today, but that's okay. Yeah, so let's just try. Now I will switch to Visual Studio Code, and I think for the most of time I will not switch anymore for browser, because yeah, let's try to make code in here. Okay, switching. Yeah, so this is a goal, to make this contribution MD somehow generated from this myglue contribution CLI. So what I did yesterday is generate this project structure, because that was one task before starting the YouTube session, right? You want first to try the framework itself. Sorry, I will open some beverage. Like that. It's actually it contains caffeine, but it's not for the an energetic in the usual understanding of it. It contains some BCA vitamins. So yeah, I'm planning to do some sporting exercises today, so it might help. And beside that, it will give me some energy. I don't want to die in here in the next half an hour. Joking. Yeah, let's try to make it non more than 2 hours. Anyways. So as oclif, this my glue contribution CLI. Let's go to experiments. Let's go to my glue contribution CLI. It's called glue gun. So if we look at the history, maybe we will see. Yeah, it's called like that. So you can yeah, it's really a cool part of npm that npx allows you to generate whatever project from whatever place just using npx as a main tool for that. It's really nice. So you do npx glue gun new and then the name of a project. Then you are asked some interesting stuff. Let's try my test just to show you. So that's how it works. Can you see the console, guys? So now it asks which language would you like to use. And I decided to use TypeScript. Yeah, now it's creating some folder, my test, with installing TypeScript and copying the structure from glue gun templates itself. Let's just wait because I don't remember was it something interesting right after. Otherwise, we will stop it. Yeah, I will not create the other projects from scratch because that's what I did yesterday. So I just generated a new project and have just checked the repository itself. Didn't go further. So yeah, it shows you the instructions for further. So you go there, and actually, yeah, that's a funny part. So yeah, let me delete this guy. But the funny part is that after you send, okay, if you experiments, let's go to my glue gun. Okay, so it says go to this folder and then run test. And actually, if I run test now, because I didn't modify anything, that will fail. That's yeah, that's what I found funny when I just tried it. Yeah, thanks, Sergey. Okay, so it failed, and yeah, that's actually, if you look at the message itself, it just says that you cannot find the JS file in a model or whatever, in a model EJS. Well, that's understandable. At least that's what I thought yesterday. Well, that should be easy to fix if we just run npm build, and then I found another message. Since you generated TypeScript project, we included a build script. When you link and run the project, it will use TS node locally to test. However, you can test the generated JavaScript locally like this. So I believe if I just do npm build now, npm run build, and then test again, it should find actually the whole stuff. So let's try that. So test should pass. And it also says that we might want to use yarn instead of npm. I don't mind, but yeah, I'm using npm, and they say it's still possible. No, still failing. Whatever. We'll not do the whole testing driven development today. So let's just try to achieve what we wanted to achieve. So now I'm linking the whole package, and that might appear in my CLI like that, right? So I should be able to use this command, my glue contribution CLI, after I linked it, and every time I do changes on CLI, it should also it should already the command should use them, because that's how linking works. So it's just a link to existing file, and that will use if documentation says true, that will use a TS node. TS node is another package in npm which on the fly transpiles TypeScript into JavaScript, so you don't need to build it because yeah, it uses some yeah, it's man in the middle procedure how you define the extensions that I used with Node.js, and you can define the TypeScript extension and transpile it on the fly. That's how basically TS Node is working. I had it. I had a slide in some presentation about it. It's quite funny stuff. Yeah, let's wait just a second. Okay, many vulnerabilities found. Yeah, that's too bad. Okay, so now I should see. Okay, welcome to your CLI. Good, good. Does it have a help some way? Help. Yeah, it has a help. It has a version. So it actually. Okay. What should I do next? Yeah, well, let me see. First, I want to see what it does. Yeah, so it has some interesting syntax. So you have to get a build. So when you build it, you define how your CLI will be constructed, and you can define where will be the default comments will be structured, what would be what plugins should you use. And in this part, I still don't understand what is a plugin and extension. So it seems that plugin is like complete new CLI, like it can contain the whole stuff as a src folder contains, and this syntax in here says anything that you find by this regex will be the plugin for your CLI. So it will load it and will apply some extensions if it has some. Then you say that it provides a help and version command, and in the end you create it and you have to run it, I believe. Yeah, you created it and then you run it with argv. Yeah, that's part I don't understand clearly, but yeah, it's plus or minus fine. So we currently have this welcome to your CLI stuff, and it has a lot of toolbox abilities here. So let's define the generate. Yeah, it already has a generate, by the way, generated file at models.model.js. Okay, so why don't we want to put a generate contribute MD file? So that's how we can use it. Okay, so templates model ts ejs. Okay. Oh, okay. So let's copy some template. Maybe let's find contribution MD file. Let's put it like that. Contribution MD. It doesn't need to be TypeScript, I believe. Okay. I put it like that. Hello. I don't know, props name. Let's put props name just for sake of testing it. Okay, and now I should be able to see when I call the generate command, I believe. It should actually output whatever I put in here. Okay, let's comment some stuff. Yeah, of course, TypeScript always complains about everything. That's why I'm not a huge fan of it. So what would I try? What I will try to achieve? Name is not defined. Ah, okay. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so this is a command, we can modify it. Okay, it should be easy, I believe. So parameters, template, generate, let's get the name. Okay, so let's put a name in the contribution first. So that would be hello project. I think it can be a project. Oh, just a project, I would say. Okay, project, and the name would be parameters. Interesting. What is okay, let's check what is parameters in here. Let's switch to the browser. Will not do that for long. Sorry. Parameters. So it contains lots of stuff that I called my CLI with. Okay, and there is a way to get the first argument, the second, third. Okay, yeah. So it's some extension to. Is it extension actually? It's Toolbox API. Let's explore a famous. Is it called an extension? I think we don't want to. Well, actually, let's put it as an argument so far. What I'm thinking of is like, actually, I need to ask a user, okay, what you want to generate? Is it a contribution or it's not? Whatever. Okay, so I think for now we'll stick to the first argument in this case because it's already in here. Okay, so name. Actually, we can use the structure and syntax in here. We could say parameters and then first as a project name, right? Project. Project is declared, but value never read. That's understandable. Okay, that should be a contribution. Target props generated. Okay, now I have to choose my contribution file, I believe. Target. Target, should it be models? I think it shouldn't be. I think it should be actually at project. A project and then contribution MD. Yeah, like that. Let's save it somewhere just to not repeat yourself. File name. Const file name is like that. Yeah, not sure that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that TypeScript will complain a lot about lots of things because I don't know how it's configured right now. And it's TS-lint in here, so I guess that will fail already. Compiler options. Haven't looked at that one. Doesn't matter right now, I believe. File name then would be like that. I need to change these guys. File name and target would be project, as we said, right? So actually should create the project folder. Target model.js. Yeah. No. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Let's see if that would work. So the first argument, it should get the project name and then apply it to this name about. Yeah, I think that would be easier now. Okay, generate and then project whatever. I think that is good enough. Okay, it seems to work. I think contribution MD about whatever. Good, good. All right, it's working like a charm. Okay, and I think what I want to have is in here is that whatever contribute. Yeah, that's fine. I just thought maybe I need an uppercase stuff. Do I have something in the strings? Yeah, I think I have helpers as a strings. Maybe uppercase. Yeah, they have uppercase even here. I don't show it. Didn't want to show you and didn't want to. Oops. Yeah, actually they have string properties, strings extension in here that in toolbox that can use for lowercase, for uppercase, upper first. That's what I need, right? Uppercase, upper first. Hello there. What is a uppercase then? Uppercase, hello there. For every word, basically they do it. Yeah, I think I need uppercase and I need lowercase for everything. Yeah. Okay, I need no, not the uppercase, upper start case. I need a start case, and is it the same? Yeah, upper first and lowercase. That's what I need from the strings toolbox. Now let's see if that would work. But that's just for the sake of you know, for me being too pedantic, let's say. Okay, so parameters from toolbox, strings. It's called strings. I would need upper first. I would need lowercase, which should be in here. Lowercase. What? Ah, okay. They're not used, it says. Okay. So what I'm saying is that I actually want to apply a project project in here. Target should be lowercase all the time. Let's do it like that. Lowercase on project. And then upper first should be applied for properties. And yeah, I thought already that a target actually, yeah, I should design it like that. Target is lowercase, and I would just use target. Okay, project should be uppercase, upper first on project. Then here I can use the target. I think it's fine. Let's see what it produces. It's interesting. Also, would it actually delete? Yeah, let's check if how it will behave with the same folder. Contributing file at whatever contributing MD. Okay, yeah, it works. Okay, cool. Okay, that's cool. The last part, I guess, then it's is actually to make it as a sprint, as a template, right? So make something with our template, and maybe actually ask for different list items in here, but one by one, not everything together. Okay, use commitizing with npm run commit. Use GitHub flow. I would agree with that. Branch naming convention. Okay. What do you think, guys, if I do some things like that, for example? So I want to use branch names example, branch, props branch should I use? Yeah, I'm trying to understand what I want to ask a user for. I think it's okay for experiment only to ask user if he wants to use a specific branch examples, just to see if that would it would fit enough. I think it's fine. So let's try to do it like that. So I would define one argument only, which is branch, sorry, and in a template. So one is project, which comes from argument. I think that explainable, and then I should ask actually. I should ask a user which branch convention he or she wants to use while generating this, while working on this project. Yeah, at least that fits well for me. I don't know. Let me tell me what you think. But I will use a prompt from here. Let me switch to the browser again. Let's read it together. I think we're really close to finish this story, by the way. Okay, so ask. This is an async function prompt from require gluegun or from toolbox, and then I can define it like that. Okay, let's do this example. I think that's good. So I would need another thing from toolbox. That would be toolbox prompt, maybe even ask a prompt, and I will do ask. Okay, and then I will ask some question. Text input would be ask branch example input name branch what would be an example for branch naming convention. It could be also a question like, can you provide us a regular expression for branch name convention, but I think it's fine for now like that. Questions. Can I use just an object for ask? Let's see. Well, it has some list or input options, but that's fine, I believe, like that. Let's try. Don't see actually the properties. So let's just try get branch from here. I will ask like that. And then I would put props with a branch. Okay. Sounds fine. And let's try the shorthand notation. G, whatever. Okay. Really slow. What would be an example for branch name convention? I don't know. Example 1, 2, 3. Generated MD file at whatever. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I think it's really fine. Interesting if it is possible to get some inputs from this file, from templates, and then ask a developer, or not developer, a customer, what he or she wants to generate. Okay, well, good for now, I would say. At least I tried. So what we tried so far, let's yeah, I think that is plus or minus what I wanted to achieve with this story. I mean, of course, it's not a loss of functionality. We didn't apply tests. That's okay for experiments. So what I planned for these milestones actually. So first we do working on a scope. Like we need to decide on a scope for MVP. We need to decide on technologies we're going to use. So I thought that's okay for experiments, because experiments is actually this decision part of for the next milestone points. So I thought, yeah, experiments can go without tests. Okay, for demonstration, I believe. And so we tried to generate this gluegun framework. We used existing command from it, like the generator. We used a few toolbox API. We used the prompt ask. We used strings. We used template and something and parameters. So yeah, like 25%, I think, or at least, of the default toolbox API from it. So we use the command. That's the main functionality it has, and also by this guide, actually, it looks familiar for the commander.js structure when you define your plugins, define your commands. You can define what would be the default command and so on. So yeah, looks good to me. I believe. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think. Please let me know. I didn't hear anything from you for the last 20 minutes, so please tell me if you're still here. And for now, we're going to switch back for the code, and we want to finish this sprint review. So that was a demo with live coding. With the demo itself, let's remove whatever string. That's a text test stuff, a package log. Don't know. Yeah, let's put package log. That's okay. So what I have a sprint review not committed. I have package log. I have contributing as this file structure and the new contributing template. Okay, so I said that I want to use actually the npm commit, right? Yeah, npm run commit. So that's one part of this contribution guide is that always use commitizing. So npm run commit. Let's do that. Okay, what's going wrong is because it should be in here, npm run commit. And that guy is, it's actually asks you some natural questions like what is it, write a short imperative mode description of the change. Yeah, so for that change, what we just delivered in here is we played with experiment, which we called the generate contribution MD for a project. So I would copy it in here, generate contribution file for a project. Experiment. Now generate contribution as an experiment, let's say like that, for project X. Yeah, I think it will complain now. 55 chart. That's okay like that. Break and change, no. Issue that commit closes. Yeah, issue that commit closes is number 1. Okay, that's done. Sprint review is still not finished, so that is still missing the code review. Let's for now push it. Origin experiment contribution 1. You see, it's also following the contribution guide that we have. Well, for now we just thanks Sergio for the feedback. So yeah, I agree that it's a little chaotic. We don't want to spend the whole day here, I believe, for now at least. I just first in here first time checking how this all will work, like if I prepare the experiment, what we going to achieve. So for me this story was to try the glue gun framework, because I wanted to try it. What else we wanted to do, and that is because the scope of MVP is not yet clear. So I'm still experimenting, like what I want to do with this project, which I'm working on. Right? If we decide to move further with this main idea as CLI as a project management, that might be that we want to generate this contributing MD file. Might be that you want to use the default template of contributing file for your project as well, and then you want to publish it, or you just want to push it in the end. So for me, this story was try to generate some stuff from template with a CLI using this glue gun framework. So I think it is okay, like now, at least I feel so. Okay. With this said, the good thing is that actually this part is also done. So we generated a contribution MD file for a project. I just pushed the result to GitHub, I hope. GitHub, just pushed it in there. It found some vulnerabilities that we need to fix later on. So for now, code review, that's the next part of this contribution guide. Let's go for the pull request. Let's create one. Yes, you see, this is how the commitize produces the log, and then I believe it can create easily the change log from it, but I haven't tried it yet, maybe for the future. So what I did, yeah, first I updated this contribution MD file that was from previous sprint as well, like an npm run commit, use it, yeah, I added this package JSON script file, GitHub flow without changes, branching name, so I decided to, I don't use hash in the naming convention, that's fine. I also changed 111 because that didn't work for some markdown examples. Experiment should up and in the code experiments folder. That is currently what we're doing. And updated the sprint change meeting template a little, just added this these checkboxes and a little the different order which we currently following. And then the other part is this contribution CLI auto-generated from the glue gun itself. So what is valuable here is the template, sorry. Yeah, first is this CLITS is the default one. So yeah, we change this generate file. So it produces the contribution MD file. So for me, this is was the main purpose of this generate contribution file guide. I know it's not a hard task and it doesn't take more time. You know, it took more time to read about framework because yeah, of course you can just download it and even it could be even take less time for you to generate the same functionality. But yeah, I read it, so have some understanding, maybe not good enough, but some at least. Okay, we tried some extensions, as I said, some toolkit as well. So this is a contribution MD file in it, some default auto-generated code, and the yarn log. Shouldn't commit yarn log because I don't use yarn anyways. So for now, if I don't have any arguments against it, I will just approve and merge it. So guys, anyone, I count for pluses or minuses in the comments. Otherwise, I will just merge it, and that would be the next part of this meeting done. So, any pluses, guys? Any minuses? Okay, cool, good enough. Thanks. No, I cannot review myself. Can someone actually review it, please? Yeah, approve button. Yeah. Thanks, guys. If you can click approved, I will be able to merge it then. I think I should change it, functionality, to allow myself at least to approve my comments. I know that's not it shouldn't work like that. Branches, but please approve it. So far, I'll try to find maybe strategies in here. Collaborators. Oh geez, don't remember it. Yeah, okay, good enough. Yeah, it's a good time for you to become a collaborator. Yeah, I first would want to have some commit before putting you as a collaborator. So please do. Okay, Sergio. Yeah, you already actually did approve my previous merge request. So thank you so much for that. I don't. At least I was it approved? Okay. Yeah. Very well. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Good, guys. We're working together, collaborating here. Okay. Good. Thanks. That's like a joke, but also for me, you know, I am as you also spend time on that. So do I. It's like a playing with actors in here, with myself mostly. Yeah, so that was a code review. Thanks. Next, not a big task. So project updates. So make all current activities for CLI as a project management tool. So yeah, that's the main idea I come with. I told you already about it. So the goal is to construct some kind of tooling to help me and help us to work on this project, to automate some stories, to to publish to Medium, like I said, to publish to Twitter and so on. That's an idea I have in it now, and that is an update on the project itself. Don't send personal identifications anymore. That is said, that I don't want to do anymore, and I think you will also feel more comfortable if I don't do that. So Zoom, yeah, that's the question I just came with. So what do you think, guys? Would it help if next sprint review we do with a Zoom functionality, so we can talk all together, or otherwise we don't do that yet. Maybe we'll do that the sprint afterwards. But what do you think in general? Like, would it help if we just discuss it all together all the time? I mean, you can stop me you can stop me, and then we just continue immediately. Then it will be a faster feedback basically. Then we can discuss and stop many things. I think that's how meetings should go in general, because it's not about online coding. The main purpose is still doing this sprint review, sometimes with CLI coding. So yeah, the thing is, yeah, we can try. I agree with that. So let's put it as a task then. Organize the project structure, not the organized. So I think for the next copy card link, I cannot, unfortunately, I cannot just clone the issue, I guess. But yeah, for the next, I'm not sure what would be the easiest way just to copy the whole project. Actually, that could be a good start to making a feature to actually making an issue to generate new sprint template tasks. Yeah, it's already existing in Trello, I know, but yeah, it could be one part of this instrument that we're building. Organize next sprint planning session. Convert to issue. Yeah, you see, I already starting them to organize the next sprint, so that would be the next part. Okay, and I would put what we just discussed in here. Try and organize the Zoom session. Yeah, I already read a little bit about it, but we need to test it, and there should be the Zoom session as well. So what I understood, it's not easy to so it would not be online in YouTube as is. It could be pushed or uploaded afterwards. That's for sure possible. But I'm also will try to stream from Zoom to immediately to YouTube. But then we still need to connect in Zoom to be able to communicate all together. Otherwise, we can try maybe Skype calls. But then, yeah, it would be even uglier. So yeah, let's experiment it. Next time maybe we'll try Zoom, and later on we decide if it works or not. Okay. Are we still in browser? Oh no, we're still in JavaScript code. Okay, that is a Zoom. That's what we decided. So sprint updates, project updates are done. Our next part is sprint planning. That's easy. And we are finishing in 5-10 minutes. So yeah, 2 hours. Close to the plan, I would say. Sprint planning. Organize next sprint planning session. Yeah, for that I still need to. Yeah, I also think that we should. I should add points actually here. That's easier. 1 point. Well, yeah, as I said, I will actually do it more. Let's put 1.5 at least. 1.5 points, or let's follow some. Yeah, I'm not sure. Should we follow some? Yeah, it couldn't be floating point, right? Let's put it 2 points. That's too bad, I know. But in general, like this was how many points? That was 3 points. That was 1 point, so 4 together, and the last one was 2, so 6 points I've accomplished. That's good. One more I did not fully accomplish. There's a Czech Alex heard podcast. I actually found it one more time, and so I know what I'm talking about. Open source org, we discussed it. Find more platforms to advertise. Still not sure. We discussed some things with Sergio already. So tweet about registered project. I did, right? I'm not sure what I meant by this. Does anyone remember? Yes, Sergio, I agree with that. We need a basic version architecture of the application, but we need also to first understand what we are constructing. So that's why, yeah, what the plan was to try some technologies like this glue gun first, and then define a roadmap. Well, defining this roadmap, when we try these technologies, like before 21st of August, we should decide first what would be the technology, the main technology that we are going to use. I'm currently choosing between the oclif and the glue gun. So oclif is already in experiments. Glue gun we just tried and pushed 2 experiments as well. Well, I already tried Commander myself. That's maybe not yeah, I should not count on that. I don't wanna. Yeah, it's quite an old project. I already tried it many times. So don't, yeah, I just want to try something earlier. So yeah, we decide on technologies. Indeed, before 21st of August, we know the initial scope we want to deliver, and then we start like doing the first implementation. Of course, yeah, and that's I hardly believe in that you cannot just decide on architecture and that's it. I mean, that would not work. You will find some constraints during it, and then okay, what you gonna do with your architecture? Yeah, you have to rethink it. So that's how I plan to do it. Is basically we start working on it, and both oclif and glue gun for now they have some already some predefined set of architecture decisions, like this toolkit. For oclif it's a plugin structure, for glue gun its own plugin structure, but they have all these terms working for these technologies. So whatever technology we use, we kind of inherit in the architecture way of writing an application. So that's why I would say for the beginning, for 21st of August, whatever technology we decide, we can just try it for next couple of sprints to do it like that. And that's why I plan the next milestone, which ends in 17th of November, to rethink the whole architecture, what was wrong, what was fine, what we want to change, and then we decide what would be the next iteration. So that's my plan on that. I don't know, does this sound, does it make sense? What do you think, Sergio? For now, I will just tweet about registered projects as done. I think read about health our self-promotion documentation. So I didn't do that. Ask Dmitro to post LinkedIn. I didn't do that. So that was Sergey's suggestions. The last one, translate article experiment with Dino, and that's why I'm asking Sergey right now. So should we plan something for the next sprint to like a project management work for the next sprint for Sergey to translate some article and try to publish it to Hubber? Let me put it to backlog so far. I want to translate. Now I want to publish in a CLI article to hubber.com in order to promote educational project. And that was a Sergey suggestions. Might be translate, I would say oclif article, and the experiment with Dino could be a plan, could be an announcement plan there. We should decide on that as well, and that is That is, I'm not sure where to put this Dino stuff. I think that should be decided on a milestone before 21st of August. So if we go to the milestone initial scope and base technologies, and here decide, is it decide, define, implement, edit, node, the strategy, markdown, part 1. Yeah, I think a new issue should be created, like decide on technologies. So in this milestone, there should be that should be decided on 21st of August. 21st. So that's the documentation, or even, yeah, that's the documentation, more like the project management, I believe. That's gonna be TypeScript. Consider TypeScript. Consider Dino, and consider oclif, consider glue gun, and whatever we find. And the milestone should be C-line, yes, the initial scope, indeed. On base for MVP, yeah, I think it's fine like that. So that should be solved no later than 21st of August. Okay, let's do it like that. Yes, I have experiments with Dino. Okay, yeah, then Sergey, maybe you can share your experiments, so maybe we can plan something for the next meeting. If you want to share your experience with Dino, what do you think? How to transpile oclif to Dino, but it's some troubles, of course. I believe it did. Sergio, we need to look at the reaction of the Harbor community. Indeed, yeah, that's why we want to try it. I don't see how the other way. Yeah, what I did, yeah, I think I told it last time. When we published with oclif with Otus, we published the first article I wrote for CLI in Harbor. The result was not very good. So basically, they come in many people, and in a way like only Harbor users do, and they say, nah, yeah, don't even want to read it. But if you write in a JavaScript. You write in a CLI in JavaScript, something is wrong with you. So that was the main comment in there, and so the article was closed. But I think it's okay still to try it in Harbor, and then even like if you want to risk with your user account, I would say. Okay. Yeah, I just read a few comments by Sergey. So what I think Sergey suggesting is to make an experiment on Dino experiment. Try. Yeah, we need to write something to try Dino CLI some Dino CLI framework. So we need to divide something so we want to write something. Actually, we want to decide what will be gonna be the business feature that we want to deliver. Yeah, I agree, Sergey. What I still think is it's still possible just to work on an article separately, and you can say that we consider Dino as a main technology. So we in 1 month, sorry, we going to decide on a stack of technologies that could be Dino now. Yeah, otherwise we can postpone, of course, the article. What I think, that's my opinion, personal. We can work on both separately. That's not a problem at all. Or you, or we. It's also depend on you. So we also can try take both, experiment with Dino. And translating an article for the next sprint, and because it's 2 weeks, So that's all possible. So okay, let me just finish this story. Is write something to try some Dino CLI framework. So we want to experiment with Dino, and we want to deliver some business value for that. So what I suggest, because we already tried with oclif some parts, define. So actually, we can create node. We can make the create node. We already have in this this story here. So if I just put the define right, so we should try some find and try some Dino CLI framework. So that should be an experiment with Dino, TypeScript, and other CLI tool link. Yeah, so that's how I see it. So we can use this experiment feature that we already planned to write that just create some node command. So basically, in this description in the beginning, I had this example like node idea. So this is basically the adding node syntax, how I see it. So you define first a list when you want to add a node, and then you just say I want to add this node to this list. So basically that's how I see it. I can put it as an example in here, just for sake of what we want to achieve in this story. Like in this story, how I see it is we want to first decide on Dino, well, try Dino, find some framework is existing one, or choose oclif in Dino if that would work, like you, Sergey, already tried. And then what we want to deliver in this story is actually some piece of code. Should not be ideal, of course, like this is just an experiment without even testing, don't want to waste time on that now. And then it should produce some way of creating a node inside a list, inside some markdown. It could be a different format, could be not a list items as I saw it at first, but something like that. So that's just for the sake of understanding. So that's my suggestion. Okay, some comments, maybe tries, okay, will you be able to determine the list of requirements for the first version of the application? Yes, Sergio, that's what I wanted to do for MVP before 21st of August. So 21st of August, I plan to have the all the features that we want to implement in the first version of our application. And why are you asking? I mean, will you be able? I don't know. Well, like, will I be able or not? That's the plan, basically. That's the first milestone that we want to achieve 25th of August, to have the first base technologies that we're going to use. And like this is deciding on the framework, on the environment, Node, Dino, oclif, Gluegun, whatever. Second is define the minimal MVP. So MVP itself, like a scope of features that we want to have for this project. So that's why we have still 2 sprints to work on for that milestone, basically. What do you guys think? Still 3 points in here, like experiment, don't need to refine it. Oops. Convert to issue. I will put it as a promotion. So the milestone for this story is definitely the project management, promote and improve structure. So that's why it should not be done in the next sprint. It can be postponed if we have something more urgent, like more priority for the project management milestone. Okay, next one, CI/CD for CLI tools, auto-publishing in different channels. I will also convert initially. That's what we discussed today. Yeah, that could be a scope of MVP. How we should name it actually? Is it yeah, labels in the first one is a PM. It's easy. This one is, I think it could be experiment for now. Experiment. Not sure. That's really need to be. I think that's more like experiment, and also the some what we have here: documentation, enhancement, good first issue. I think it's idea for now. So we need to think of it as like how it's gonna work. So feel free to elaborate on that one. Put your comments, and then we want to decide how it will work, and maybe think a little more steps on it. At this task, okay, determine. Yes, you're right. Yes, so we just said that we want to decide on technologies. We also want to decide on a list of of features for the first release, right? Where is the decide task? I put it right. I didn't add it to backlog, I guess. Okay, let's put it in here. Determine list of requirements for the first version of the application. Yes, right. That's it's an important one. So I want to work on it not this current sprint, but like the next sprint more. So that is the documentation. The project's milestone should be the first one. Implement and release the first version. Okay, that's good enough. Yeah, thanks, Sergio. Now I understand it. Yes. The stack is already a different issue in here. So the stack is a decide on the base technologies for MVP. So it's already there, but it's a different one. Like this is more like a business value, like what we want to achieve in what is the first. So the requirements, features, what we will be, and then the stack is a different, can be considered a different one. Okay. So 6 points I was able to burn to this sprint, and find more platforms. This we closed. Find more platforms to advertise. Okay. So what I can still do for the next sprint, I can work on this, find more channels for advertising. Just to finish this story, it's 1 point in anyways. Organize next sprint planning session, of course we need it. That is, I think it will not take more time, so just 1 point, and consider 6 points I've burned this time. Let's put it to done, as by the way, like this. Finished. Well, I mean finished, like this is not perfect board, but it's okay. Like after done, it goes to finished, and then next sprint is in here. What I could also do is actually move maybe the column of backlog a little here. No, it's not sure what would be. Yeah, it's fine like that. Okay, so I still have a few tasks to work on. Well, a few points to work on next sprint. I just need to decide on priority. Yeah, by the way, it's not properly prioritized yet. So what we have, determine the list of requirements for the first version of the application. I believe it should be next sprint, and the sprint after. If you don't know if you agree, please tell me. So next time we're going to do the Zoom session, so we can discuss it a little out loud, so we can all decide all it together online. Of course, if you join, I hope. CI/CD for CLI tools. This is an experiment and also an idea. So not clear scope to me right now here. Maybe you can put a little more in comments, so we can refine it better for the next sprint. Sergio, what do you think? So next one, right? Plugin to publish note to Telegram, and publish a note to Twitter. That's also an experiment, could be right now. Experiment milestone. Yeah, could be not the first release. Not the implement. Sorry. No, I don't want to implement it. Clear the milestone. Milestone should be. Yeah, obviously we will not do all the experiments in the first milestone. So experiments still can go on, I believe. Okay. That is done. Write a publish note. So what I like so far is this experiment to write a plugin to publish note to Twitter. But let us overview the other ones. Organize project, update Slack description. How many points is this? I think it's like not more than 1 point. Don't see a big value to work on it now. Let me know what you think, guys. It can be solved later on, like in a sprint right before, well, in the next sprint as well. Like determine the list, organize project, update Slack. So I just put it to the top, let's say. Write a plugin to publish note Telegram. Well, it should be actually one should be a Telegram, or maybe it could be also a Medium in here. So Telegram, yeah, I don't have much. I don't see. I see more value in writing it first for Medium, to be honest. So can be at Medium at first. So that could be a good experiment for me. Sounds like more priority than the CI/CD for CLI tools. Publish CLI. Don't see any comments for that. So I hope you agree with me. Make CLI use Git for saving notes with commit Tizen like commits. Okay, valid. Still no priority, not much priority by now. CLI is a project management tool. Yeah, that's a good one. So basically work on this idea. This is a kind of ready work. We definitely need to start working on that to understand the scope for the next for the first session of the application. So I also consider it as an important one for the next sprint. Define and implement create node command with any CLI framework. So that's what we just updated. Same for edit node. Define the strategy for storing nodes. Okay, both of them less priority in my opinion. Feature imports nodes with CLI to Trello board. That's a good one. That could be a potential feature for these CLIs as a project management. Why not? So I still put it as a note in here because we need to create a story for that. Okay, this is an idea, and I think it also can be considered as a PM that would be needed for continuing working on the first part. So what do we have? CLI project CLI as a project management tool. I think in this story we need to decide. Consider like how it will work, a few details, not the whole scope of the MVP, but like some general description of the project. For me, sounds like two. Sounds like two. It shouldn't be. It's like a ready work for 2 points. It could be more or less. Do we have a label for project management or for ready work? I think let's add ready work. New label, ready work. And I like that we can experiment with colors here. So I just created a ready work, and I will put it in here. Ready work. No labels. One more time. Ready. Yes. Ready work. So ready work 2, plan 2. It should be plan 2. So guys, if you want to work on something, let me know. So far, I'm really happy that you came for the meeting. That's already 2 hours of your time. Thank you very much. So if you want to work on something, let me know, and we're going to bring it some more to this sprint, to the upcoming sprint. Otherwise, I will work on this plugin to publish a note to Twitter as experiment. So I need to find another framework. Find, try CLI new, another CLI framework, and then connect and publish to Twitter, a note to Twitter. basically that's an idea, and that could be also done as a YouTube session, I believe. Next one, if of course I have time to prepare. Well, yeah, should be decide on technologies. YouTube session, yeah, something like that. It's almost like the previous experiment, like we just did. Sounds fine to me. So yeah, it can be considered as point 3. So planned points 1, 2, 9, 6, 8 points. Yeah. So I was managed to burn 6 points this sprint and a little more with some points of these two of 7 list. I have organized next sprint planning session. This is project management. Yes, milestone as project management. Find more channels for advertising, milestone, project management. Write a plugin to publish a note to Twitter, milestone, CLI initial scope. CLI initial scope, yeah, all good. So everything is ready. And translate some article for Hubber. Okay, great, Sergey. That's really good. Let's put it like that then. Publish CLI to article to Hubber.com. Okay, that's really great. Let's put it to the top for now. And what else? Proto Dino CLI. Okay, that was create note, right? Command. Okay, feel free to ask any questions. So for okay, let's then define the scope of it one more time. So what I think should be done, we already said, but let's just complete it. So yeah, try Dino, TypeScript, any CLI framework that that belongs to Dino. If nothing belongs, you can try Gluegun, oclif, whatever tools that we discussed. Maybe you find something better. So you decide on technologies, basically. Maybe read Corsio article, so you just can close it if you don't decide to read, for example. Find and try some Dino CLI framework. Okay, and what should be done? Yeah, so define a little the scope of it. That is a proposal, like you define what you want to create a node for, like you define a list where to put it, and then you add another item in a list. So that's how I saw it. So we store these nodes in Markdown list, and when you add one more node, you just define, you add one item to the list. That should be what should be done. And code in repository, yeah, we either do the YouTube session, that is possible, like you can share your screen next time, that's up to you, of course, or we can just review it together the next sprint planning, or let's say I can do it before and we cannot, and we then decide if we want to review it on a session or not. I hope that is clear. And I hope that's 3 point matches the result. And I don't know what you say, if that's okay or not. Let me let me know. So publish a CLI article to Hubber.com in order to promote educational projects. That's what Sergey suggested. Yeah, that's hard to refine it. For me, it sounds like not an easy task to accomplish, to be honest. What I can do in order to help, yeah, of course, I can help with suggestions of translation, but I'm pretty sure you can do it yourself. Yeah, what I can do, if I can ask Otus if they have an example or can find the previous article. It was deleted from Hubber, so let me know if that would help if I find the translation of the previous article that we tried. So I would say, yeah, decide on an article to translate, publish to Hubber, and overview the feedback. Ask and overview the feedback. Something like that should be done, I believe. So what I think, it should be at least 3 points. It's my opinion. It could be even more. It could be like 4 or 5 even. That depends on how deep you go with an article and stuff like that. I honestly never translated articles myself. It's maybe not too hard, but still needs to do with yeah, some work needs to be done. So I will put 4 here. Yeah, it should be at least 4 in my opinion. It can be even 5. So next sprint is a big one. It's like a 7 for, yeah, currently for Sergey, and 3, 8 for me. And considering this part, it could be even 8. I mean 5 and then 8 for Sergey. So yeah, let's put it like that. Of course, yeah, and let's put a review. Yeah, thanks for that. Alex reviews. Yeah, good one. Okay, then we kind of done. Thank you so much for being here today. I really like that you come in. That's at least that's encouraging me to continue working on that. And I believe next few sprints will become yeah, nicer and nicer. I mean, I really hope that we will get some other contributors, and if we continue like that, we also will have some auto students, I believe, because that was a plan for 19th of August to announce it, and then we'll see, maybe someone will actually start working on it and help us. I think then we are fine to go. Yeah, and then we can get even more and more attention, and if we continue sending this communication to different channels like Telegram, like I said, I will try to force it more next time. So yeah, let's just try to make it, in my opinion. And yeah, like we discussed it with my wife, the announcement for this the announcement for this project should be like you like JavaScript, don't want to earn any money and spend all the time, free time on it, on the project. Yeah, come and join us with this educational JavaScript project then. Yeah, I mean, this is a joke, but yeah, for now we do it just for free, and we're trying to promote it as much as we can. And yeah, maybe it will end up in some, yeah, basically my goal is to produce material, like create some materials. Like, for example, if Sergey translates this article, that will be plus to his karma in Hubber, right? So he does it mostly for himself, but also with considering this project. So we all together can actually get some benefit from this project that I strongly believe in, at least for now. But yeah, will. So I enjoy it so far, and I hope that you will enjoy it too. And yeah, then see you in 2 weeks. And please contact me if you have any questions, and if you have any feedback, I would also appreciate it. Yeah, and of course I forgot that the last column in this board is not shown in the record because it's covered with a chat on top of it. So next time I should consider this one as well. Okay, then thanks, and thank you for your time again, and hope to see you in 2 weeks. Have a nice Sunday, and bye bye. Have a nice evening.